So rewatch the Blair Witch Project. First time in a long time, I watched it at 1 in the morning. For no reason, impulsively. I was watching Ghost Hunters, and then I was like, hey, you know what? This kind of reminds me of the Blair Witch. I'm going to watch that again. Short film, 81 minutes. That's an hour, 21 minutes. Very short movie. I'll just give it a watch. Couldn't sleep afterwards. And I've seen it a lot of times. I haven't seen it for a while. That movie is phenomenal. People don't realize how brilliant that thing is, because it's fake. There's a part of me that always thinks it's real, because whatever happened to the people afterwards, whatever happened to the director afterwards. But it's the greatest acted film of all time, because I'm like, all right, given that it's fake, there's also a part of me that doesn't believe that, and they're like trying to cover it up because they don't want people to go into the woods. Possibility. They don't want people going to those woods. They're like, it's not real. But given that's fake, that's the greatest performances ever given by any human beings ever. There's no better acting performances in any movie. It is, especially by Mike. The guy who was Mike in the movie, who's all of them using their real names, greatest performance of all time. Like, it's 100% so convincing. I'm like, it convinced so many people that came out that it was a literal thing. I'm like, you guys are first-time actors. They've done nothing before that and nothing since. And it's mind-blowing. And the fact they're filming on these old cameras, I think it adds to the reality of it, the realism. I'm like, it's 1994, everything looks very shitty on these cameras. Very low quality stuff. But it is a series of, realistic conversations. A realistic documentary that feels like a high school documentary of them interviewing people about the Blair Witch in the Woods that were real interviews. Which is also fascinating because, that is a real urban legend, a real cryptid of Burkittsville in Maryland. Because I'm like, they're doing real interviews. And then it has one of the most terrifying, iconic endings of all time with the guy facing the corner. Which also leads to, they give the double suggestion. Is this supernatural or is this a serial killer? Or is it a combination of the two? The serial killer in the woods made his kids face the corner as he killed one kid. Then he's facing the corner. So is the Blair Witch just a serial killer in the woods? The scene where she finds the teeth rolled up in the bundle of sticks is crazy. But the scariest scene in the whole movie is the tent thing. The tent thing is mind-blowing. You hear laughing, you hear this weird gasp sound that freaks me out. You hear a baby crying in the distance, and then he starts smacking the tent. I'm like, that's a creative idea right there. If you're making a horror movie, I'm like, just getting smacking of the tent. It's something that you don't see in any movies. Just something hitting the tent again. And then he starts running as fast as he can. I'm like, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? God, it's so good. I'm like, I kept picturing myself in this situation. Would have drove me crazy. One thing I would have did that they didn't do is I would have climbed a tree. I would have got as high as I can on a tree and see what I could see. Because I can climb. I would have 100% did that at some point. But when they walk 15 hours straight in one straight line, I think those woods, I looked up, they're 16 miles. So if you walk 15 hours straight, let's start at the beginning, you're guaranteed to get across the woods. And they end up in the same spot, death. Suicide right there. The fight they have over the map is incredible. Mike saying, I asked you yesterday where we were. I'm like, this is incredible. These people are so unbelievable, given that this is acting, supposedly. So, yeah, I love The Blair Witch. I think it's one of the best horror films ever made. I think it's one of the most creative ideas ever made. It started a genre of found footage movies. Nothing has ever done it better. I think the closest thing is the first Paranormal Activity was a good new idea. Now it's run to the ground. But when it first came out, I was like, that's a brilliant idea. And it's truly scary what they did. Minus the very last shot is stupid. But, yeah. I think Cloverfield is a good idea. A fun movie. It's undone by the stupid love story. But yeah, there's been some good ideas with this. Wreck. But Blair Witch is the GOAT to me. Even not just setting it up, I still think it's the best of all of them. So yeah. Whatever happened to these people? This movie's so scary every time you watch it. It truly is. And it's just because the realism of it. It depends on what scares you. But this is what scares me, is the reality. The idea of things that I could picture can't happen in real life. When I'm watching Conjuring movies and I'm watching ghosts break people's necks and walk down stairs backwards and use telekinesis to destroy everything in the room, I don't find it scary because I'm like, I can't picture myself in that situation. I could easily picture myself in a situation. I've camped in woods for real. And I'm like, I could easily picture myself in this situation. I've hiked through woods. I love going through woods. I've always had the thought in the back of my mind, what if I end up getting lost? Truly scary. So, yeah, last time I was in the woods, we were out racing a thunderstorm trying to get back to, we were staying in this big igloo thing. And yeah, I kept thinking, I'm like, oh my god, what if we lost the trail while the thunderstorm happens? So yeah, anyways, 5 out of 5 stars. Horror masterpiece. Chef's kiss. Horror masterpiece. Perfect movie. Wouldn't change a damn thing.